Hey, happy Friday, Scott Lara, president of militaryfairs.com, your one-stop shop for travel. If you're a member of the military, if you're a veteran like I am, or if you're a family member of a military person, militaryfairs.com for your next trip. I'm laughing because I just read an article about boarding your plane early. And if you fly on certain airlines, you can actually buy it. For $15 or $20, you can buy early boarding. And I know some of the discount airlines sell this because what is it about? It's about making money. The airlines make extra money on the bags, checked bags, and now they're making money on the ability to book early, to board the plane early. So let's talk about why you would want to board early. My number one reason would be those overhead bins. A good friend of mine, Tres Noches, I think is her YouTube channel, and she has talked about not checking your bags because especially in Cancun, it could take an hour and a half to get your bags from baggage claim because the service is so slow there. And so I have learned from Tres Noches, and just Google that on YouTube, Tres Noches, and she taught me, and I knew this kind of instinctively already, if at all possible, don't check your bags because it's going to take a long time. Now, on the other hand, I hate to say it, but a lot of people use the overhead bags for these huge maximum dimension bags that you can put in the overhead, and then you'll have certain people look around, can you help me, throw this 100-pound bag up in the overhead bin? And of course the flight attendants aren't getting paid to do that, and who wants to pull out their back? And I know I get a little bit snarky myself when I see someone, I won't say who, but someone will look around, hey, can a guy help me throw this huge, and I feel like saying, well, you should have checked it, but of course they don't want to check it because they don't want to wait an hour or an hour and a half at baggage claim at whatever airport. So that's the number one reason I think why people want to board the plane early, is to take advantage of the very limited overhead space. And if somebody's got a guitar or something, and again, it's tough. All right, so that's a number one reason why. But what I've also been reading this morning, and I have to give this to Chris Elliott actually posted this, and you can Google Chris Elliott. And Chris had been also talking about why, not just why people board early, but who can board early. Number one, disabled people. If they have filled out the form, cane, crutch, wheelchair, and then, okay, and if you've been to the airport, you've seen this, cane, crutch, wheelchair, okay, and then there's the way they do it, right? Okay, if you're a family with young children, come on forward. And you have all the businessmen and everybody kind of standing there. You have military in uniform. Now this can kind of vary because I'm a Navy veteran, but I'm not in uniform. I can flash my veteran ID all day long, but that probably is not going to get me a free cup of coffee or get me to board early. But if you're military in uniform or on orders, chances are you get to board early. Families with young children, disabled people, and of course, those who have got status, right? But it's funny, like with Delta, it seems like everybody is a Delta, Platinum, Titanium, whatever, so it kind of loses their status, right? I mean, like on Holland America Line, which is cruises, you have 5-star Mariner, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star. I'm a 3-star Mariner, and that gives me certain privileges, but those 5-star Mariners get all the privileges, like if it's early boarding and whatever. Same way with Carnival. You have Diamond, Platinum, Gold, and so I'm Platinum on Carnival, so I get certain privileges. Now, see, that's the same way with cruise lines, right? Faster to the fun. You can pay extra, and of course the cruise line is pocketing that money. Faster to the fun. What does that mean? Well, I get on board early. I get to my cabin early. I get that guy's burger early before all the other people do. So going back to to airlines, Yes, if you're military, and again, this varies airline by airline. Let me just say that as a caveat. But airline by airline, if it's Southwest, JetBlue, Delta, Frontier, Spirit, you got to check to see, because number one, I think it is with Spirit that you can pay extra $15 to $20 to board early. Now, you also know about Southwest, right? A, B, C, D. And I'll tell you a quick story. A very close friend of mine was in A. He was in the first boarding group of 50, 60 people. So he was very happily up in A, and he knew he could board early. Well, I was in C, right? I'm going to tell you a secret that I shouldn't tell you. It just seems like people naturally will start walking down the aisle of an airplane and either want to look for that middle row with the wider seats if you don't have to pay for those, or the length of the seats for your legs. But people walk down. So I was in C, right? Well, my friend and his wife were in A, and they were right up there near the front. Well, I get on, and man, I look right to my right, and they're like 1A. Now, of course, it's not first class, it's Southwest. But I was like right there in the front row. Now, why do I want to be in the front row? Because, again, I'm a guy. I have limited patience. And you know how slow, how painstakingly slow people, when the plane gets at the gate, right? Ding! You hear the sound, and everybody starts standing up. And you could be in 39A, and people are still standing up, because they want to get their bag and get off the plane, get through immigration, get their bags, and get to where they want to go, especially like in Cancun. Well, I like being in the front because I want to be one of the first ones off the plane, especially in Cancun, where I can go down to immigration, go through, and get to my all-inclusive resort. So going back to early boarding is what I'm talking about, is that there's lots of reasons or lots of ways to get early boarding. So you can get that precious overhead space, so you can get a good seat, unless, Southwest, A, B, C, well, you don't have a seat assignment. Now, like JetBlue or maybe Spirit or Frontier, you can buy your seat, right? And I've done this 100 times. Like, I'll look at it and you get that cheap fare, but then, okay, now for an overhead bag, it costs this. For a check bag, it costs this. For a seat, it costs this. Unless you want to roll the dice and, you don't want to be in 49A. I want to be up near the front. And it's going to be extra for a exit row seat because you have more legroom, right? But there's been many times that I have bought A, the early boarding, and I've bought B, the seat near the front, because I want my vacation, I want my trip to be as stress-free as possible. You're already dealing with screaming kids. You're already dealing with businessmen that may have had a couple too much to drink. You're going to be dealing with wives who maybe, they're upset and they're yelling at the husband. I'll tell you another story. This is my last story I'll tell you. My wife and I were in Cancun years ago, and I was a level on Continental. I forget what level. I was a high level on Continental. So when we went to the gate, I said, hey, here's my level. And they said, okay, well, you and your wife get bumped up to first class. This is years ago. But the thing is, I was in 1A and she was in 3A. And I think there were 6 rows of first class seats on this Continental flight from Cancun to probably back to Jacksonville. So my wife was upset. Why are you in 1A and I'm in 3A, even though we're both in first? I don't want to sit next to some businessman, and I don't want you sitting next to a Victoria's Secret model up there. I want to sit next to you. I get it. And I said, well, honey, just wait till we get on the plane. They'll close the door. I'll talk to the flight attendant, and we can sit together. So I'm not sitting next to a Victoria's Secret model, and you're not sitting next to a drunk businessman. Well, they closed the door, and we look around in first class, and guess who the only 2 people in first class were? Me and my wife. So I look at the flight attendant. It's a gentleman. And I said, hey, can my wife come up here? And he goes, oh, absolutely. He goes, but a lot of times when married couples fly back from vacations, they want to sit in separate seats because they're mad at each other. True story. Go to militaryfares.com. If you're a member of the military, if you're a veteran or a family member of a military person, militaryfares.com for discounts on airfare, hotels. And if you're looking to do a cruise, email me directly, Scott@militaryfares.com. Have a great weekend. Appreciate you being here all week, and talk to you soon.